Good day, my name is Enzo Coppola and thank you for tuning into the Save Our Soccer, SOS Save Our Soccer channel once again. Before we proceed, please may I ask you to consider subscribing, and if you like the program, the content, click a like. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And also, if you want to leave any comments in the comment section below, that would also be welcome. So what I'll be covering today in today's video is basically a review of the last weekend in the PSL, the Premier Soccer League in South Africa, as well as Serie and the La Liga in Spain. So before I carry on, before I continue, you'll see I'm wearing my Kaizer Chiefs shirt. This is a replica shirt designed by Grant McDade, made under the label of the South African Football History Heritage range. So this is in honor of Mark Maponyane. At the back you'll see "Go Man Go." There you go. So that's in honor of Mark Maponyane and also in honor of Kaizer Chiefs, who've done so well this past weekend, but we will come back to that. So let's begin. Let's start off with the El Clasico. The El Clasico was lived up to its name with a final scoreline of 4-3. Real Madrid went 2-0 up in the first half. However, Barcelona clawed back and they went into a 4-2 lead. With two goals by Rafinha, one by Yamal and one by Garcia. And then Mbappe completed his hat-trick and brought it back to 4-3. So that was a very exciting match to watch. And Barcelona is a team that never gives up by the looks of it. So as I said, we will come back to the Nedbank Cup final at the end between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. But we'll begin our review in England, okay, where Manchester United, otherwise known as the Show Ponies, played against the West Ham United. And forgive the pun, but the Show Ponies got hammered, and I think there's only one United in England, and that's West Ham United. So they played at Old Trafford, the ground with a leaking roof, and it appears that the defense is even more leaky than the actual roof itself. So 2-0 down, West Ham showed they were a far superior team, and I'm mystified to see how Manchester United are in the final of the Europa League Cup. Be that as it may, then we move on to Spurs, who are the other finalists in the Europa Cup. So here we have a team that's 16th in the Premier League playing against a team that's 17th in the Premier League in the final of the Europa Cup. Now that's really hard to understand. It's so two terrible teams like they have. Between the two of those teams, they've lost 37 games in the season. That's like losing all the games in an entire season. Unbelievable. So they'll be playing in the final and of the Europa League Cup, Europa Cup, and the team that wins that will qualify for the Champions League. The team that loses that will go down as probably one of the worst seasons in their history, whichever team it might be. So Ange Postecoglou has famously said over and over again that wherever he goes, whichever club he's with, he always wins a trophy in the second season that he's there. So this is his second season and this is his opportunity. So he might be in a situation where he could go on to win. I'll fancy Spurs. I'll put my colours on the mast now. Nail my colours to the mast early, and I'll say Spurs will win the final. And when they win the final, I think Postecoglou, Big Ange, will get fired after that. And Daniel Levy will bring somebody else in to help the club go forward next season. So good luck to those two teams. Excuse me. Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool went 2-0 up in the first half, and I thought they would cruise in the second half and punish Arsenal and score a few more goals and really drive it home that they are the real champions, or they are the champions of England, and just to prove a point. But then at half time, Mikel Arteta must have put on the switch and put on a plug up the bums of all the players, and because they came out all lit up and bright and shiny. And that's, for those that don't know, that's the play on words regarding a video that I saw this week. It may be an old video, but I saw it this week, of Arteta giving a team talk and using an extension cord with a light bulb to show his players that's how they need to turn their game on. So he said something, maybe use that plug and put it in some strategic places with these players, and they came out and they started playing in the second half. When they came to 2-2, the game could have gone either way. At the end, that's how it ended, 2-2. But matters not to Liverpool, still champions. Some diehard fans are saying, oh, it's about their performance and it's about making statements, etc., and so on. At the end of the day, I don't think anyone's going to remember what happens in the last 3 games when a team's already won the league. So it's good to end off on a positive note, and I'm sure they will in the coming weeks. So let's see what happens there. Coming to the Serie A, Inter were 3 points behind Napoli. There's quite a tight chase there for the Serie A title, and Inter were 3 points behind Napoli, and they were playing before Napoli. So they beat Torino 2-0 in a very wet game. There was a lot of rain and the field was almost unplayable. But they came through. They did their job. They scored 2 goals, and they won 2-0 there, putting them equal on points with Napoli, who still had to play. Napoli played later on, and they played against Genoa, and they played at home. And Napoli held the lead twice in the game. They scored first, and then they were 2-1 up. And then with about 7 minutes to go, they thought they were going to seal the 3 points, but then a miracle cross from a Genoa player and a miracle header from a defender, the only person in the penalty area of Napoli, and he hit a brilliant header into the top corner. So that game ended 2-2. Napoli dropped 2 points, so now Napoli have only got, I beg your pardon, 1 point lead in the Serie A going into the last 2 games. That means the fate is still in Napoli's hands. Napoli just need to win both the games, and they'll win the Serie A. But if they drop points, it could be anybody's title. So that's very interesting. So I'll come to my final roundup of this week. Okay, it was the Kaizer Chiefs Orlando Pirates Nedbank Cup final. Now, normally, I think like most people, we tend to prefer overseas football, whichever league it is in Europe. And I don't always make it a habit of watching local Premier Soccer League football, PSL, because quite frankly, I find the standard a bit low in general. I know there are some really good teams in the PSL, but in general and overall, the standard of players is really quite poor. Added to that, the commentary in most games is really, really terrible. It's you just want to turn the sound off. But thankfully, we had the doyen of our commentators in South Africa, Mark Gleeson, who was commentating, and he's the best, and he makes the game very enjoyable to listen to and to watch, and very ably assisted by Teko Modise, himself a football legend of the past, whose analysis was very good throughout the match. But the match itself, like I said, I normally find the PSL very boring, and yeah, there's a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype around this final, and every time Kaizer Chiefs play Orlando Pirates, there's always a lot of hype, and everybody's there. It's a full stadium, and so on and so forth, which is great. It's good for football. And then they play the final in Durban. They're always playing the final in Durban, so I don't know what the reasons are behind that. It's good for Durbanites, but I still think there should be a head office. Let's call it a head office, a field, a main field like our Wembley in South Africa that they should use for events like that. But anyway, to the match itself, I didn't find it a very exciting match, to be honest. I forced myself to watch the whole game, as I said, and Chiefs went ahead via a penalty early on in the match, and by the very faintest clip of a heel, I got a feeling that, and I'm not advocating VAR because I don't like VAR, but I'm just saying if there was VAR in South Africa, I'm sure there would have been a bit of doubt as to the amount of contact there was with the Chiefs player. Be that as it may, it looked like his heel got clipped, went down, referee gave the penalty, and then Serino stepped up, took the penalty, and he slotted it very well. And so Chiefs went 1-0 up. However, I have to say about this guy Serino, I mean, okay, I'm only judging him on what I've seen in this match. So I haven't seen him throughout the season. But judging him from this match here, I think if Chiefs are pinning their hopes on this guy, he's too lightweight for the PSL. He's too lightweight. He kept falling over. He always gets, he's always looking for fouls, and he's very lightweight. And in the final third, but what's critical, sometimes you can get small players that are very effective. There are many examples around the world. But in his case, Serino's case, every time he got the ball going forward, he gave it away. Countless times he gave it away. So he was creating nothing for Chiefs going forward. In fact, I would have taken him off a long time earlier than the coach actually took him off. So that Serino guy, I think they need to look somewhere else if they want to do something better next season, in my opinion. But the penalty he took well, so credit to him for that. I thought Pirates were far more creative throughout the match. And Makopa scored a very good headed goal. That was a good equalizer at the end. Well created. There were a few occasions where Pirates got into the penalty area of Kaizer Chiefs, and they could have done more with it. And they definitely were more creative going forward than Chiefs were. Okay, I'm not sure about your opinion. Maybe goalkeepers out there might think differently, but I think Pirates' goal was headed in from about 4 yards in the small box. Normally, a goalkeeper should come out and collect the cross like that, but nowadays, goalkeepers tend to sit on their goal line and hope for the best. And either the defenders do their job for them, or they rely on a reflex save. So my opinion is that I think if the goalkeeper was positioned properly, he could have taken that cross before Makopa got there, at least to challenge him. But be that as it may, Makopa took it very well and he scored a good goal. So, but I just, one of the reasons why I find it difficult to watch the PSL is because it's hard to see a structure in a game. The players are all over the place. You're not sure if they're playing possession football, whether they press from the front, whether they attack as a unit. You often see that the play also breaks down too often. They play the ball up to the striker, he can't hold the ball up, he falls over, and too many players are just falling over all the time looking for fouls and free kicks. This is not just a South African problem, it's a worldwide problem. But technically, I think a lot of the players leave a lot to be desired, because the ball retention from both teams, these are supposed to be professional teams, the highest level in South Africa, one of the top leagues in Africa. And all you see is that 1, 2, 3 short passes and then a long ball. 1, 2, 3 short passes, then a long ball. The amount of time that the teams actually retain the ball is negligible. And it's just not a good spectacle like that. Everything's 50-50. It reminds me of the amateur days when I used to watch the amateurs playing, that's how they play. It's like 1 or 2 and then long balls, rely on long balls. They're playing on beautiful fields. Okay, that's another question. The state of the Moses Mabhida surface didn't look great. But I mean, in general, in the PSL, the fields are supposed to be well looked after, so they're like carpets. There's no reason why teams can't pass the ball around, move around. You know, you get the odd long ball, but then it tends to be a bit more accurate. But in this game, for example, I took some official stats off the website. There were 113 long passes. 113. I mean, that's like half the game, balls in the air. If you watch teams, it's like, you know, any Premier League, EPL team games, whichever team you want to talk about, even the lower league teams, very seldom do they just punt the ball forward. You know, and then it's done with a purpose, and then they try and collect the second ball and so on. But not here. In this game, it was just long ball after long ball after long ball. One big chance per team was created. One big chance, okay, that wasn't taken. Then corners. In fact, overall the game, Kaizer Chiefs won, and I would say the way that they scored the goals, deservedly so perhaps. But if you look at the stats, Pirates had the better of everything. They had better possession. They took 14 shots as opposed to Chiefs' 6 shots. They had more possession, as I said. They had 7 corners to 1. They had 20 touches in the opposition box compared to the Chiefs' 13. So if you look at the stats, Pirates could feel a bit hard done by. However, that goal, the second goal by Chiefs, scored by Mart, was a very good goal. I wish they would do more of that. They got the ball into their penalty area, into the Pirates penalty area. They could have taken a chance. The guy did an about turn. I thought that the opportunity had gone. Then he turned, put the crossover, and it came to Mart on the outside, and he hit it first time with his left foot, straight in the bottom corner. Very good goal. So based on that, you know, Kaizer Chiefs deserve to win, and they've broken their 10-year drought. Okay, well done to them for that. So I don't want to be too critical about the game, because I know there are exciting parts, and I'm speaking from a neutral point of view. I would like to see more improvement in terms of the quality of the play. And I don't understand what these coaches are doing. What are these highly paid coaches doing? What are they coaching their teams when you see that? It's like watching an amateur team playing. There's no structure. You know, for example, towards the end, even Pirates, when they went down, it seemed like they had given up, and they were tired. They were tired in a cup final, and they're tired. There's still 10 minutes to play or whatever it was. So I really think there's a lot of areas that can be improved in local football, because I want to watch more local football, and it should be packaged better. I mean, if you had like 10 Mark Leesons and put them in all the matches, that would be great. But unfortunately, we have to put up with other people. I don't want to run people down, but one of my least favorite commentators is Thabiso Tema. I don't know how he still does that job. It seems like once you get into a job there, you've got it for life. But be that as it may, I really hope that the PSL improves their standard from the next season, because it's not right that, you know, everyone's got supporters. We all support teams overseas before we support our own local teams. It would be nice, yeah. So that's basically it. This is a Molten ball. I'm an agent for Molten, so if you want to sponsor me, you're welcome to contact me to buy some Molten balls. They are the best. It was the official Europa League ball and the Conference League ball. So very good quality, and all different types of balls, and also FIFA stamp balls. So otherwise, besides that, thank you very much for watching. Well done to Kaizer Chiefs, despite my criticism, and congratulations to them all there. May they enjoy their victory, and let's look forward to the next season. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that once again. Thank you for watching, and until next time, ciao ciao.